Okay, we're on. We're live. The sound is working. We're here. I can see you. I can see the feed. Can you see me? Can you hear me okay? Honestly, tonight you may not want to see me. I'm really sorry. I haven't, I woke up like this. So I'm joining you because tonight's so important. um, Normally, when I'm not 100%, I don't like to do big ceremonies and rituals. And I thought about rescheduling tonight, but I it was very clear. And you know, it's funny. I is anybody new, by the way? It's always nice to know because I always do the whole wind up for Elder Council just because I like to hear things multiple times. It's become part of the ceremony of it. And some people are new, so they're like, "What's Elder Council?" I love you too. Well, I was telling Cersei earlier, I'm like, this is what happens when your schedule isn't driven by anything human. It's driven by something, spirit led. So, and here's the other piece of it too. I think I'm going to feel better after tonight. That's my intention, and I often do. And I think this ceremony is important for at least a few people because it was like, nope, you're like, get it together, girl. You're going to do this. So I'm really happy to be here with you, and I'm sorry that I look like I just rolled out of bed. I did. So bear with me. um Thank you. Well, this shawl was a gift from Yasmina, and I don't love orange, and it's a catty reason why I don't love orange. It's because it's the favorite color of a woman I don't enjoy very much, so it kind of ruined it for me, to be honest with you. And it's a very Leo thing of me to say. It's not shitty. It's just it's me being honest with you. Like as soon as I found out that was her favorite color, I never want to see the color again. So anyway, but orange is the color of the moment. Has anybody ever ruined anything like that just because you don't like them, and then like if that's their name, you don't like that name anymore, or that's their color, you don't like that color anymore? I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It's a very Leo thing. Um, but anyway, it was a gift from her, and I was like, I want to kind of just be comfy, but I also want to tap into the energy of the moment. And I literally, as I was thinking that, I looked up and I saw the shawl hanging there right outside my closet, and I was like, so just a big blessing of gratitude to Yasmina. She's brought a lot to my life. It was very sweet of her. For Christmas a few years ago, I gifted the senior managers at Sage Goddess, I gifted them shawls from her. And so she gifted me two, and I gave the other one away, and I kept this one. So thank you. And I do want to say happy birthday to Lena Lockhart. It is already August 8th in Australia, so I just want to say a big happy birthday to you. You are such a matriarch in our community. You bring so much joy and happiness and magic to all of us, and I just really want to say here and now that I'm just very grateful for you. And I'm grateful that you're here right now too. I just think that's really cool. When you posted earlier, Paxton, hey, um, when you posted earlier and said, how's our girl or whatever, I was like, I think part of it is I wanted to be here to say happy birthday to you live too. So cheers, and that's why I was saying, when your schedule is driven by spirit, but not by human things, and when the people you teach and work with are extended family, it all becomes much more important. So I just wanted to say thank you. And we have quite a few community members who are Leos celebrating birthdays in August. My birthday is Saturday, so happy birthday to all of us. I'm a rare Leo. I don't love my birthday. I never have since I was a kid. It's always made me very nervous. I'm very introverted, and I can do events for other people, but I do not like events that are centered around me. It just it's awkward to me. So I always do super low key things on my birthday, especially since mom left. So yeah, some Leos are all about their birthday and like, it's my birthday month or whatever. And I'm like, can this just pass? Can we move on? But anyway, cheers to all of our Leo beloveds. And I've told you this before. I founded Sage Goddess on the 25th of July 14 years ago. And the next day, the 26th, is when the Lionsgate portal opens. And then the Lionsgate portal is at its peak on the 8th. And then my birthday is the next day. So I've always felt like me and what I brought to the world are bookends to this very important moment. And I've watched a lot of TikToks and reels and stuff that people have made about the Lionsgate. I probably should have made some, but there's a lot happening in my world. But I and some of them were good and some of them were not. I feel like you already understand the importance of this moment, but I want to talk about it one more time in case you don't, because its significance is not, everybody talks about, it's a portal, it's power, and it's all this stuff. And it's like, so what does that mean? As I sip my Diet Coke, tell me more about portals and power. There's a reason, there's a lot of reasons why this particular moment and tomorrow, which is the peak of it, is so significant. So we're going to talk about all of that. I want to start by burning stuff and walking you through what Elder Council is and why we do it and why it matters. We've been doing Elder Council once a quarter for the better part of those 14 years, 13 of them at least, because it didn't start right away. I started Sage Goddess and then things kind of evolved. It's totally about alignment, and alignment is power. But, when people are like, oh yeah, this is when you tap into your power. And this is when they make it sound like you're going to feel great during this portal. I mean, it's a bit bumpy, it's, for me, there's so much energy. And we as humans, even enlightened, aware, awake humans like you and me, we still sometimes, when there's this much energy coming, during such a unique moment on the planet, when there's a great deal of uncertainty, conflict, it's like energy is neutral. We assign value to it, right? So we can say, oh, this is hard or this is easy. But I do think that there's really something about understanding what we can do during this time. Okay, and Spirit said two things to me for you very clearly. I'm going to say them once now, and then I'm going to say them again before we start the journey. Okay. So when I was kind of like literally talking to Spirit and saying, should I do this tonight? Can I hold the right space for them? And like the soonest we could have rescheduled would have been like, I don't know, Monday, maybe. I'm looking for my lighter, which is after the peak, right? And I'm very intentional about timing, especially with something like this. And so I was like, all right, Spirit, I need a sign. I need guidance. You got to tell me what to do. If it's so important, then you got to give me the why, Jesus. Okay. That was fun. My Elder Council incense. I just need to burn some of that. I don't think we've ever done an Elder Council where I didn't burn some of the incense. And I have some of the original in here. So every time I make a new batch, I put a little bit of the old and then carry the bottle forward. And so some of this will go into the next batch of it. So we're always going to make it with the same ingredients because that was an agreement with Spirit. But I also like the idea that there's still some of the original blend from 2013, 2012. Yeah, that was some smoke and a half. I don't want to burn too much of it because I'm congested, but I did want to just burn it for the continuation of the ceremonial aspects of this. So what Spirit told me before you leave, Rachel, I think I might have you get me from the little kitchen in there. There's Delsum cough syrup. I may need to like double up. I don't want to cough all over you guys tonight virtually. Coughing, you can't help it, but nobody really wants to listen to it. I took some cold medicine like half an hour ago, and then I'm going to take some extra cough medicine. I'm going to do it. Okay. So there were two messages from Spirit for tonight. One of them was you need to get quiet enough to hear us. You meaning all of us. You need to get quiet enough to hear. And then we need to And it was critical for me to come forward and tell you this. So I want you to translate it for whatever it means for you. We, us, whether you're watching live now or you're watching the replay later, it doesn't matter. The energy is the same. Spirit knows who will watch and who won't, right? We need to be really intentional about where we're placing our energy and our attention and our focus for the next 24 to 48 hours. The message I got was, if I came to you Monday, for whatever this work is supposed to be for us this year, like the window would have passed. So I thought that was really interesting. Okay. No, I didn't take cough medicine already. I took like a nasal one. So I'm going to take the cough addendum to it, and then I'm not taking any more. Okay, so let me rephrase that for you one more time. You need to get quiet enough to listen. There's going to be parts of this experience tonight where I'm not talking, and that's very intentional, because Spirit was almost saying to me, even you rushed to fill in the space. You rushed to drum, you rushed to talk, you rushed to, which I don't think of myself as rushing to fill up the space, but I do like tend to be either saying something or drumming or at different points, right? So I need to create more intentional space for you guys to hear. And then you need to really make some critical choices about what's going to get your attention. You know, we have a big full moon on Saturday. Mercury is retrograde until the 11th, which is Monday. So, you know, this Aquarian full moon, which is, you know, it's the opposing sign to Leo, but it's relevant, right? It's interesting to have the Aquarian full moon, for me, especially on my birthday, next to the Lionsgate peak ahead of Mercury turning direct. But, you know, the Aquarian full moon is always about, can't we do this differently? Do we have to do it this way? And so I think that could almost be part of what you explore in the experience tonight, is like, if something isn't working for you, I think that would be a good place for you to isolate your focus during our time together tonight. Usually we like to focus on the good things, right? What is working and what can I magnetize? And there's space for that, right? But I also think we need to use this opportunity to look at what isn't really working well. And sometimes, you know, my mom used to say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that a saying that's familiar to you? Might not be. I think it's the weirdest damn saying anybody ever said. And every time she said it, I was like, that is so, nobody throws babies out. You know, like nobody looks at a bathtub with a baby in it and says, I'm going to throw this away. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But every time I said that to her, like, that is so weird. Why do you keep saying that? She would look at me as an Aquarius and go, because you understand what I mean. And I'm like, well, she's got me there, right? Like, I do understand what it means. It's just so damn weird. But anyway, we don't want to throw babies out with bathwater, right? Right? We don't want to, just because something isn't working doesn't mean it has to hit the road. I think some people live their life that way, but my world's pretty gray, right? Like if a relationship isn't working, or you know, a technical thing isn't working, or something professionally isn't working, or like, I like to look at that thing and go, okay, well, maybe is it what it is? Is it how I'm doing it, or it's being done? Is it when? Like, is this a good thing, but like the timing isn't right? Right? Hi, Jody. I see you. You know, and when we first get really intense news, I don't think the question is so much where to look, but how to sit. You know, how to sit, because there's different ways to sit with heavy news, right? We can. You know, this is what I teach people, because a lot of people find me because they get a scary diagnosis and they've watched me go through my MS process, and you know, they feel like they can open up. When you get a big diagnosis, you can sit by, you know, running to worst case scenario planning, right? Which kind of rehearses tragedies and actually helps manifest more of what we are not looking to manifest, right? So we can go sit in that space, or we can sit in the space of, I'm going to just listen for a moment just to hear how I'm supposed to manage this, right? Yeah, it's beautiful. Lena says, how we hold. Yeah, I think it would be beautiful tonight for you to ask, and this is where I need to come back and talk to you about what Elder Council is and why it is. That's a big ass shot of purple grape magic. Thank you, Rachel. I really dislike cold medicine. Oh, my whole body just repels it. But I'm not going to cough during Elder Council. No, it's Delsum, which is the best cough syrup I have. I do have elderberry, but it won't hold this back. So, in any case, how we sit, right? So asking a question is the centerpiece of the Elder Council experience. And I'm grateful that you're here, by the way, Jody, because, I don't think the timing of anything is coincidental or accidental. So, like I said, you felt called to be here. I wasn't sure I could be here, but was told you need to be here. So, I think all of those things kind of sit together, and I would love to hear your reflections on the other side of it. I'll be here for that. You guys are funny. Okay, so Elder Council began not long after I started teaching classes online in what was known at the time as Magical Sabbatical. And Magical Sabbatical was intimidating enough to me. I was like, I don't feel like I'm ready to do this. Do I have to do this? And it was very much the same kind of tonation of spirit at that time too. Like, yes, you have to. And then I was like, isn't there somebody better to do this? And they were like, no. And then as more, I would meditate more and more insights would come in about what Elder Council was. I started getting really intimidated. It's like, they were very clear. I have to take it seriously. You have to take it seriously. How this is the only part of my work where I say to you, please take this seriously, because I was told to tell you that. And we get gifted a lot of downloads and insights, but I think it's because everybody comes with the same kind of intensity of focus, intensity of desire to know. And I think that makes a difference in our experience of it. But it's why I'm in so much reverence to it. Like I said, there was no way I wasn't going to be here with you tonight. Not after hearing what I was hearing and how important it was for all of us. And by the way, they do want me pulling cards. And they wanted it from this deck, which is the Tasha Silver's Divine Abundance deck. And they wanted me to show you this. I'm just doing what I'm told. Allow me, Divine, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and delight in receiving it. So if you could just say that quietly to yourself. If you're taking notes, maybe some of you process by writing, maybe just write that in your notes. They wanted me to show it to you. Allow me, Divine, to always accept the right assistance. I welcome your help in every way and delight in receiving it. I just work here. But it's the best part of my job, is feeling like I'm still spirit guided. Okay, so I get told you're going to lead them through this meditation. My first question is all the time. No, every, 3 or 4 times a year, once a quarter. So there is a seasonality to it. There's an evolution to it. At first, I was so guided to thematize everything, and now I'm starting to feel like it's just spirit uses the space through me for us to do what work needs to be done. Yeah, so, and I thought the hummingbird was meaningful on that too, by the way. It has so much meaning for so many of us, So the rules are, you need to ask a question tonight, and it can't be a yes or no question. This is really important to them. Yes and no questions are often superficial. They don't really drill down. If I ask you, did you have a good day? Right? Yeah. If I ask you, what was your favorite part about today? You can't say yes. It requires you to offer a more thoughtful answer. Do you know what I mean? I learned that from raising kids, because if you just ask your kids, hey, everything okay? You all right? Yeah. Right. But if you ask them what was something that surprised you today, or what would you say is the emotion you're feeling most strongly right now? It's different answers. Okay, so anyway, I'm focusing on I'm going to let, seriously, she's here and she can answer a lot of your technical questions in the feed while I get us going. Okay, so back to the purpose. So you need to bring a question. The question needs to be not yes, no. It needs to be something fruitful that would be give them an opportunity to give you more complicated answers in response. You may not get direct answers. You may not get anything. And sometimes that's common. You might fall asleep. Elder Council doesn't work like you put a quarter in and you get a soda can out, right? It's not like you put in this, you open the circle, you do this, I do this, you get that, and then we're done. It's a multidimensional transpersonal experience. And so you might get answers in dream time tonight. You might not feel or sense anything, but then a month from now, there's an insight. You may see a lot of things and you may see no thing. Spirit, actually, the only spirit beings that you're going to see in a journey like this are lower spirit forms, meaning they were human at some point, right? Because in my experience, when we cross, if we've ever had a human lifetime, we can appear to humans in experiences like this with a form that they would recognize. Pure spirit, ascended masters, for example, some of them had human forms, but some of them did not, often don't look like anything. And so people will say, well, I visualized a table, but there was nobody sitting at the table. And my response is always like, there was probably a lot of buddies sitting at the table, just not a buddy with a body. So we have to, I always tell people, remember, angels don't look like Hallmark greeting cards. They don't have wire halos, right? Some of them have wings. Some angels do not have wings. And that's not a order or hierarchy thing. That's just how it works. And so we have to let go of some of these ideas of what we're going to see or experience, because that's not how the spirit world works. It's elusive. And when we have expectations that we're going to see something or feel something, or somebody's going to hit us over the head, or they're going to, show us something very clear and specific, that's more of a 3D projection of what we as humans want, but it's not the reality of the spirit world that they provide. Okay, so yeah, let go of outcomes, let go of your experience. There's no right, wrong, up, down, in, out. Some of them are more potent than others. Like I said, this one, without question, in my 13 years, this one was driven from behind through me. So, and again, even I don't have expectations. I just know this wasn't going to not happen. And so it feels very important for us to be together. You don't have to hold a crystal, charge a crystal, anything like that. But I would just say, and I'm showing you this just in case you didn't see it, because these are under $10, these athames that we made for you. This is, of course, Hecate's spiral, lapis lazuli, and celestial smoky quartz. There's phantoms and stuff in these. It cost us more than $10 to make these, so you're getting them. I don't even know how we do it, but we're doing it. So if you did not get one of these, I would recommend that you do it. I'm going to be charging mine because we're working with an apothecary this month, and so would love for you to get one. If you haven't, make sure you use the Magic 75, because the price on the website is not under $10, but when you put your Magic 75, I think it's $29. It's crazy. So anyway, I really, if you want one of those, I would like to encourage you. We are, at SG, we focus a lot on ognimonotite. So if you have any ognimonotite, if you have any citrine, these are my two favorite materials to work with at the Lion's Gate. Ognimonotite is a very powerful tektite for fire element energy. And of course, most tektites have fire as part of their alchemy. But ognimonotite is one of the pseudo-tektites that comes from fire. And so I've got my lion, and I have a double terminated citrine crystal, because it is good. You don't always have to charge stones or tools at Elder Council. But because we have the full moon, right? And because we have the height of the portal happening tomorrow, this isn't a normal Elder Council. So I would encourage you to choose something. Don't overthink it. If you're sitting next to your tray of stones, or if maybe you're going to rededicate your magician pendant or another piece of jewelry that you have, I think that's great. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be something new. And maybe there's something around you and you're meant to use it, and that's why it's been sitting there. Maybe you put a crystal down this week and you're like, why did I do that? And now you look down and you're like, oh. Or you started wearing a ring that you haven't worn in a long time. Didn't anybody do that, by the way? Because I really felt like that was happening today. So go get your Agni Monatite, go get citrine. If you already have that athame, you can go and get that if you have another athame you want to work with. One of the reasons I like to charge ritual tools at the Lion's Gate is it potentiates them. The Lion's Gate alignment, which I'll talk about in just a minute, and then we'll get to the meditation. Oh my God, that's really cool to see that, Liz. And Hillary said yes too. Libyan desert glass would be great. It would be great. Any of the tektites would be great. Truly. Because meteorites, there is a fiery impact, right, when it strikes the earth. And so there's definitely an alchemy of the 4 elements present in those, which is one of the reasons they're so powerful. That's so cool. Yes, if you got something new or you started wearing something recently, I'm telling you, it was probably because you were supposed to, and just don't overthink it. Just let spirit be smart, right? And trust the wisdom and trust your own intuition that you followed to get to that place. I like to charge ritual tools because, like I said, it potentiates the energy. This is an activation portal. So anything that you dedicate to your practice during the period from 7:26 to 8:10 is going to carry the vibration and the energy of this time. And again, because we are choosing to be so mindfully connected at this moment. And if you're watching this now or you watch the replay anytime before midnight on 8/8, you really are. I don't think the timing could be more divine. So I'm thrilled that we get to do this together. Okay, good. So choose your tools. So what is the Lion's Gate? It's the alignment of the sun in Leo with the earth and star Sirius. Why is Sirius important? Sirius is the brightest star that we can see from Earth, and it's the brightest because it's the closest. Sirius is the star that the Magi followed to find Jesus in the Bible. And so, and I often think about the Magi. I was having a conversation with somebody about the Magi a couple of days ago because we were debating. I have a theory about why they brought frankincense, myrrh, and gold, right? And it's because frankincense and myrrh will keep you alive. They're antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal, all the things, antispasmodic too. And they could be traded. And also they brought them gold, which would cover their bills. So if you have a very unique client and you are Magi, your 2 goals with that baby are to keep him alive and to keep him safe, right? So money allows him to move freely. Resins keep him alive. And it is, yeah. It's all the things, right? So, but anyway, I'm mentioning the Magi because I love the idea that that's how they found him. And then I love the idea that, Mary and Joseph and the cadre of souls around Jesus at his birth, and the divine powers that were orchestrating all of those movements were mindful of Sirius, right? And would choose to place him under that star. It is a protective star. It is a purifying star. And its alignment, which happens every year at this time for these, this week and a half, its alignment with the earth and the sun in Leo on August 8th, which is when the alignment is most perfect. And the number 8, of course, when you turn it on its side, is the infinity symbol. So it's double infinity. These are all the factors and reasons why 8/8 is an important day for us as magicians. And I'm catching you. It's already August 8th where Lena is. What time is it right now, Lena, in Australia? But I'm catching you still on the 7th on the west and east coasts of the US. And so, and Canada as well. So I kind of love that that you have this chance to be extremely mindful, and your day is just beginning. So you've got, and you would already be mindful, but people who will watch the replay, maybe they're new, still get the benefit of thinking in this way and in this direction, and letting the rest of their day and their evening be informed by it. It's really important to protect your energy tomorrow. My other advice, just because I'm sharing it with you, yay, is don't spend time with people on the 8th who are not good for your energy. And that, I wouldn't have told you that a few years ago, but I've just become more protective on these important days. And you know who the people are who are potentially going to trigger you. Or I will say, if I get into a conversation and it's not going the way it needs to go, I will just say, we can pick up this conversation another time, another day. And I'm out. So I would just say, don't enter conflicting states of awareness tomorrow. Just give yourself that break. It's a great excuse for a boundary if you need it. Like, hey, I would love to have lunch with you. And in your mind, you're like, every time I have lunch with you, we fight, or, you piss me off. So like, I'd love to have lunch with you on another day that isn't today. And you do what you need to do tomorrow. I will be with you for the full moon because I didn't want to work on my birthday. So we're celebrating tomorrow night. So we have Rock Talk from 3 to 5. So if you want to spend time with me, you have 4 hours of it tomorrow. We have Rock Talk from 3 to 5. And then we have the full moon from 5 to 6 and the Wax and Wane after party from 6:30 to 7:30. So I'm spending a third of my waking hours with you. So you have lots of excuses to come and hang out with me if people are annoying in your life. This day also represents, think of the dividing egg, right? Think of the Vesica Pisces. This day also represents harmony, balance between the physical and the spiritual worlds. Because Mercury is retrograde, we do want to acknowledge that. The implication of that is, instead of just being a day 8-8 of like, we think of it as action and momentum and power and strength and all this stuff, because, the 8 in the major arcana of the tarot is the strength card. We think of all of that, but there's a reflective quality to this right now. And I'm curious if you're feeling it. Again, I think that's why I was guided to have you really go within tonight. A little less heavy on the visualization and a little more heavy on your inner world and stillness, because stillness is a doorway to infinity. It really is. Slowness. That was the other message from Spirit. We have to slow down. Just slow down. We have to pause. We have to be aware of what's getting our attention. And if I don't pull you out of your head to have you look at it, you may not even realize how much of other people's energy is dominating your field, right? So we need to get quiet. We need to get still. We need to redirect attention until this energy dissipates. So again, if it's just you found yourself focusing on a problem that you're facing, or you got heavy news, right? Okay. So let's slow down and integrate that. You're gonna hurry up and integrate it. You know what I mean? So let's do the work tonight. What else I want to tell you? So your 8-8 to-do list for tomorrow, in addition to hanging out with me, is to daydream, journal, do some kind of gratitude ritual, take a leaf from a tree that's really healthy, blow your breath on it before you cut it to say thank you, write down everything you're grateful for, and return it to the earth under the tree, right? It's one ritual you can do. Charge your crystals, envision the best possible outcome for every challenge you're facing. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do tonight. Pull up a challenge, envision the best possible outcome, stay there, and then we'll release it. Okay, so we're gonna do this together tonight. Is this all making sense? Okay with you? Sound right to you? This was so clearly a moment for you tonight, and I want to make sure that you're sitting there going, yeah, you know what? This sounds like where I'm at, what's needed. Okay. Like I said, it's not your average Elder Council, but the momentum behind me doing it was not your average momentum either. If you're trying to heal, this is a really important couple of days. It can help you reprogram DNA. It activates dormant DNA in your system. And so sometimes this is why our bodies change, right? Our cells turn over. It's like different responses from your body are needed for different stimuli. And your life probably isn't the same right now that it was 5 or 10 years ago, right? Some of us have had radical shifts. Okay, good. Thank you for the feedback, by the way. Some of us have had radical shifts. I mean, nothing in my life is the same as it was 5 or 10 years ago. But you may say, well, it's mostly the same, but we moved to a different city, or it's mostly the same, but we moved to a different condo, or, something like that. So, and yeah, I mean, my life isn't the same as it was, 5 months ago. So what I would say is, in cases like that, where you've been going through, like I've been going through these sort of radical, exponential quantum leaps in your development, your awareness, then this call to slow down and reflect is critical. Because what happens in your life when you just keep going? Like, and you don't ever stop to reflect and think. You're like, okay, I'm just going to power through this, and I'm going to power through that, and I'm going to power through this, and I'm going to power through that. Like, what eventually happens to anybody in that kind of situation? I always, when I see people doing stuff like that, like the not slowing down and the not reflecting. Oh, thank you, Rachel. She brought me tea, y'all.
It's honey water.
What's honey water? That sounds so good. Aw. Yeah, burnout. And adrenal exhaustion. I mean, it is actually really dangerous to do that, right? And I can look at people physically and see it, because cortisol, high cortisol levels, you can look at your own body and tell if you're carrying a lot of weight around the middle, and I have a lot of clients like this, a lot of weight around the middle, and sometimes they'll have, like, their face will be full too. And they're not eating a lot of food. They'll come to me and say, Athena, I don't know what to do. I'm not eating that much. You know what I mean? I haven't changed my patterns all that much. I might sneeze. And I can't lose this. Like, yes, it's hormones, but it's largely cortisol, right? And so it's from being in fight or flight mode for too long. And your body just can't live with that level of inflammation, right? Yeah. So I really want to, and yeah, if you're getting rashes, spontaneous weird skin stuff. Also, when people come to me like, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm itching, and I can just tell when people are in this kind of crash mode. But they're like, well, I don't have time to stop and reflect. You don't have to spend a month reflecting, but do you have an hour? Because this isn't working out. You know what I mean? Like, look around, this isn't working for you. So yeah, and inflammation is the root of all disease in the human body. And that comes from medical doctors. I have quite a few friends who, I respect them and they respect me. They don't think that we can necessarily change the course of disease with our thoughts like I do. But we agree on certain points, which is inflammation is it. And inflammation is, sustained inflammation will kill you. And there isn't a doctor alive who wouldn't agree with that statement. So, and we are highly inflamed, especially empaths right now. We're so inflamed. And then we eat stuff and we drink stuff that heightens inflammation, and we don't get enough sleep and rest. And if we do sleep, it's shitty sleep. And so I think the reason why this was so important is we have this moment, right, to do this work. We have this portal that we can pull energy through. And we need it because we're fried. And we're holding energy for more than we're even aware of, right? I mean, if you post things in social media, people can pull energy from you, even through, your posts and pictures and stuff. And sometimes you can feel the weight of that. So my job tonight, I think, is to unplug you a little bit, not cut cords, but just kind of like make you aware of where you're tethered and rooted. And the number one way to identify where you're tethered and rooted is to ask yourself, what are the main challenges and concerns you have? Because that's what tethers and roots us, right? Joy tends not to tether and root us in the same way as stress and anxiety, right? We're tuning forks, and then what, right? And so now you're a tuning fork, and you're sticking yourself in people's pies. I mean, you don't know what that pie is made of, right? So we have to just become aware of it. Unfortunately, what conflict does and what concerns and anxieties and fears do is they require our attention, right? Like there's a heightened response because there's a response expected. So we have to engage, and that engagement is a plugging in, and it feeds the problem or the concern, whether we like it or not. It's feeding it, right? We don't have to be positive about something to feed it. Our fear feeds it, our anxiety feeds it, right? I know. So anyway, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I just wanted to make sure that we'd had these conversations so that you understand my intention for tonight. Okay. Can you do me a favor on the music and fast forward the track? I'm so glad you're here, by the way. Thank you for staying. Yeah, just one. Yeah. Got weird from that. Yeah, good reminders. Thank you. Okay. And make sure I said everything I want to say. Oh, the other thing about Sirius, it is the spiritual sun, S-U-N, the spiritual sun, which is why it's alignment with our sun and our sun in Leo, which is, of course, ruled by the sun. That's why this is so important. Okay. It was believed in ancient times that just by gazing on the star Sirius that you could pull down its energy. And I think by stepping through these portal days, we do the same thing, right? In Egypt, you know what they're celebrating right now? There are still celebrations of it. I've taught you this before. The Lion's Gate is when the Nile floods. And that is a huge celebration in Egypt because, of course, the flooding of the Nile means abundance, right? It's the waters rising. And so how it floods, when it floods, of course, all of that is sacred to Isis. And so it's thought that she, gives the earth back its abundance, and, the rising is an offering to Isis. And then in return, she blesses us with abundance. So, yeah. Yeah, it's true. And here's the thing, Nurse Sandy, you are so right. She said, you don't have to be strong for everyone. You can be real and let them know you're struggling. You sure can. One of the things empaths don't like to do is we don't like to be a burden. It's our big fear because people burden us so much. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. And people don't mean to be a burden, but they, people don't know how to manage their energy, frankly, right? And so our biggest nightmare is that we would be that for someone. Like, oh God, I don't want to be that person who like comes and does the, what the kids call it now is trauma dumping. That's a thing, by the way, in that Gen Z language. I don't think they know what it actually means. But like people don't know how to manage their energy. So they come and they, have energy diarrhea all over you. And then you're like, okay, so now I'm just covered in this stuff. And so the last thing you want to do, or the last thing I want to do is go, hey, well, you know what? I'm actually having a hard time too right now. And here are the 19 things that are going on in my world, right? Like, I'm just saying, we're all afraid of it because we know what it's like. I'm now at an age where I will tell people, I really need you to learn how to manage your energy. But that's if I think it's going to make a difference, or if it's really getting to a crazy level, like I'll just be like, I don't want to be your teacher. I don't want to be everybody's teacher, but it would go a long way for you to learn about energy management, right? I know. Okay. What's the alternative, though? I just want to say this, and then I will get into our meditation, but I think this is a great conversation, and I feel well enough for it. What's the alternative, right? Like, that's what's difficult about all of this, right? We don't want to unload onto people, but at the same time, we need to be able to express and communicate and process. And so it's like, these are challenging things for us to learn. And I, like I said, my attitude and responses to it changes as I get older. I'm more willing to say things out loud. But yeah. But then there are some people who are like, so what do you want me to do, Athena? Right? You're not a fan of retelling all your old stories. No, I'm not a fan of that. And you're not necessarily a fan of always directly engaging people around stuff. No, I'm not always a fan of that. I think a lot of stuff needs to get done on the energetic level. I think we talk too much about problems. I really do. Like, we're human. We're not going to figure it out. Like, let's give it to source. And I trust spirit world. Okay, so then what do you want me to do? Just love and light and unicorns, and isn't that spiritual bypassing? I just want to say this, and I will say this, I think, probably for the rest of my life, unless my beliefs really change. But they haven't in all this time. And I think this is important. I think there is real value in trying to focus on the good and trying to transmute everything else that isn't that into some form of love. And it's hard, you know, when you're in a bad relationship or you're coming out of a really tough situation. And I'm not saying like look the other way or just put rosy colored glasses on, but I am saying like I do think that energy is real, and I do think that we make problems sticky, you know, like they won't go away. We give them food, and we support them and nourish them like a cancer. When we keep, you know, rehashing it, and when we keep trying to solve it ourselves and trying to figure it out, and when we worry, I just think we just give, it's like food. And so I want to encourage you to starve a lot of the things right now in your life that aren't supportive of whatever this awareness is that you need to come to. And it can be like quieting voices in your life or in your head. It can be, energetically muting someone, which again, you don't have to mute people. You don't have to, unfriend and block people. It feels good sometimes. I'm human too, but I mean, you can mute them energetically. But just, again, you are infinite, but your energy is finite. And I just want to really encourage you to put as much of that finite energy that you have toward what could be. You know, I was having, before I came in today, and I was going in to take medicine for you. And let me know if you have any questions, because that was the end of my notes before we meditate. Lee had put a bottle of champagne in the little refrigerator up here, and I took it out because I was putting 7-Up because I wasn't feeling good. And I set it on the sink. But I never noticed that on the back of this brand of champagne, it says in French, un monde de possibilités, a world of possibilities. And I literally looked up at it as I was taking my medicine. I was thinking about you guys and tonight, and I just happened to look down at the bottle, and it was like a world of possibilities. You know, a world of possibilities. What would you want a t-shirt for? Which t-shirt do you want? I want to make my Moon Magic tanks one more time, because mine are all worn out and have holes in them. And I when people come, like delivery people and stuff, and it's like there's a hole under my arm and stuff, I just kind of look. My mom used to say raggedy. I look kind of raggedy, so I need a new tank top. Oh, please manage your energy, tank top. Yeah, please manage your energy, right? It's true. Okay, so are we ready? So our directives for tonight, just to refresh, I want you to bring your attention now. I want you to start to drop in a little bit. You don't need to watch me during this process. It's better if you don't, because when you shut off your human senses, you turn on your spirit senses. So if you're looking at something, that's your sight is a big distractor. So you should listen, but I don't think you need to watch. You can lay down, you can sit up if it's more comfortable for you. And I want you to bring your attention to your question, whatever question it is that you really want to hold for tonight. I'm going to light my Elder Council candle. And I'm also lighting my Summon candle, because, and I don't light this one very often, unless I'm really doing some big work, which we are tonight. So that's getting lit too at Paxton. You have elders. Are you going to come to council tonight? I think that would be wonderful. I wonder what your ancestors are like. I think they're very loving. He learned how to shake yesterday. We're really excited. Can you show them? Shake. Paxton, sit. Paxton, sit. Okay, bye. They're sweet cows. His ancestors, they are. It's like a huge field of huge, big buffaloes and cows. I love you guys. Okay. So we are going to, our focus for tonight, we're going to get quiet enough to hear. We're going to work through, we're going to call up some of the challenges and concerns and fears that we're holding and facing, whether it's for us or other people, whatever it is. And we're going to look at it. We're going to envision the best possible outcome. That's why I think it's great Jody's here. And we're going to hold that highest outcome. Okay. And if you don't know what the highest outcome is, ask your spirit guides to show you. That's part of this tonight. So we're going to get quiet. We're going to listen. We're going to redirect our energy around some of the main tethers in our life, which are the problems and concerns that we have. And then we're gonna tune in and really hear tonight. And I'm making the space for you to do that. And at least some of you are probably going to get some information that is critical to your development. And I'm here for that. I'm drinking my honey water. Oh my God, that's really good. Is there lemon in that? Oh, it's so good. It's yums. And then, like I said, at the end, just remind me to pull some cards. I'm not going to get to everybody. So the question, let me know if you have any questions now before we go in, because then I'm going to not be looking at the feet because I don't want to distract everybody. So all the questions now, if you don't mind, and there's no dumb questions, because some people are new. And even if you're not new, if you've only done it twice, you may not remember, right? And it is really important. So what kind of question to ask? Something significant about your life that isn't yes or no, that they couldn't answer yes or no to. So I always joke, like, you're not going to ask them, should I wear the red dress to work tomorrow, right? Like, who cares? But am I in the right relationship? There's a juice question, right? I'm trying to think of like my major questions for tonight. You know, I'm holding the question like, is there a better way to resolve my divorce conflict? And giving that to them a little bit, something easier to do, right? Yeah, I mean, Brady's asking, how do I navigate an adult relationship with my 18-year-old child, which I'm also doing. My son was born an adult. I feel like he came into the world as a grown man. So I've always kind of felt that he was adult-ish. He's very responsible and diligent. But that's a critical question, because your whole role in relationship is changing, right? And then you can think about I always think about, I used to teach the spider, right? You have your central question in the middle of the circle, and then the legs are like kind of the offshoot questions, right? Am I giving him everything he needs? Does he need, are there, which is a yes or no question, but like what other guidance would you give me about how to be a better parent at this time, right? You don't have to verbalize it. Some people like to write it down in their journal because, and I'll tell you why. Some people have told me in the past that they feel like they totally know what their question is. Maybe they're going through menopause like me. They totally know what the question is going in, and then they have this experience, this meditation, and then afterwards they're like, wait, what did I even ask? They can't remember. So I have had people say it's really important to tell people to write it down. Again, if you're not a writer downer, like, you don't have to start being one today. Oh, yeah. Improving relationships is a great question. How to, right? You can also ask, what do I need to know about this person or about this relationship? Because, asking how do I improve it, that's one focus. But you could even ask a bigger question, which is like, what am I not seeing that I need to see? Remember, the full moon is so great for this, right? Like, our timing is so divine. So we've got that big illuminating force in the moon right now to be able to like really show us if we want to be seen, right? Okay, so yeah, new career, new relationship, or like existing relationship, and repair, improvement, healing, all of those things. So I'm really glad that you guys are asking these questions, because I think it's going to help other people in the feed to refine their questions too. So big thank you for just the last cycle of comments. Okay. Yeah, and Terry's going even like, one level up, which I think is great. The big questions are okay. Sometimes we struggle with, like, is that a good question? Like, what am I missing? What am I not seeing? What don't I get? You can ask that too. And then as we're going, you can refine it. So you can, in your mind, as we're going through, you can ask the sub questions. So, because you might get a partial answer, like, well, you're missing this. And then you can say, well, okay, so I'm missing that. But, is that relevant to me? One question to ask too is, like, where am I taking up too much of other people's energy in my life? Where do I need to, it's part of the precision of the focus I think we need right now. Where are you taking too much? And the answer could be as simple as, like, you need to stop watching the news, or you need to stop, letting people have leaky boundaries with you, right? You're not the red phone in the president's office, right? Like, you're just not. And honoring when you're limited in what you can offer, right? Okay. And yes, you can ask more than one question. Thank you, Gypsy, for asking that. I like that too. Lena said, show me how to make the most of ... Yeah, which is beautiful too. You ready? Thankful for this time. Yeah, I stopped watching the news. I mean, I'll find out what I need to know. People want to talk about things, so I find out. I don't live under a rock, but I don't like filtered information. That's just not my jam. I want information, but I don't want it through the lens of a person. So, which is a tall order. Okay, so I'm going to do double 8s on my wrists of my perfume. So whatever you're anointing with, this is why I love rollerballs so much. 8 on the left, 8 on the right. That is 8/8 for the Lion's Gate. Original Elder Council with the original 2013 label. At the third eye for what I know, at my wrist to bless what I do, and at my feet to bless my steps. Amen, aho, and so it is. Okay, and just have your stones with you. I'm not gonna hold my stones, but they're within 2 feet of me, so whatever you're charging or activating tonight, just have them near you. Just don't, if they're in another room, it's not gonna work, but you got 48 inches of real estate to play with, so you're good. Beautiful. So take a deep breath in of whatever that oil or that essence that you're working with, whatever you're called to is the right one. Oh, you've got some oldies but goodies like Spirit Vine and Enter the Temple. I think I have a bottle of Spirit Vine in my little SG run over space next door. Okay. Whew. Okay. Are we done everything we need to do, Spirit? Let's open the circle. Okay, I am going to use my drum to open. And so this is your permission slip now, just to let the rest of this time together be for you. No need to pay attention to the feed. Just be here now. As we open the circle, I just want to say thank you to the guides and the guardians for my strength to be able to be here with you, and for the direction to do this with you. Felt important, grateful for the awareness to honor it. I want to thank your spirit guides for leading you here, for you and your gifts that helped you listen. So as we open this circle, this is a sacred container. I always declare quite boldly, only energies in service of your healing and highest good are allowed entrance. All other energies must remain outside the circle. We are protective of the space because we're burning things and anointing with things that all spirits recognize. So, and have declarative boundaries around what's in and what's out. So, if it's for healing, if it's for your highest good, then it's welcome. I'm welcoming in the guides and the guardians of the East. New beginnings, dawn, new cycles, new awareness, new gifts, new possibilities, a world of possibilities. Thank you for gathering us in the container tonight for the sacred work. To the guides and the guardians of the South, welcoming in the element of fire for courage, protection, strength, and passion. We welcome you into the circle and turn west, welcoming in the guides and the guardians of water, healing, renewal, regeneration, energy of the mother, a space to be held, unconditional love, wealth and abundance in the west. Welcoming you and turning north, guides and guardians of birth. Thanking you for grounding, for peace, for presence, for encouragement and comfort, a safe and soft place to land. Thank you for being a guidepost for us as we walk this path. And honoring and acknowledging and welcoming the guides and the guardians of the vertical gateways, the upper realms, dominion of angels, archangels, guides, and keepers of the Akash. Guides and guardians of the middle world, all of your spirit guardians and guides, all of mine, welcoming you in, calling them in from the east, the south, the west, and the north. And then welcoming guides and guardians of the lower world. This includes all energies of the crystal grid, planetary matrices, ley lines, vortex points, all planetary gateways. Also includes the energy of the ancestors, those whose bones rest beneath our feet, whose bodies have been returned to the planet through dust. Thanking all the vertical guardians for being present. And any energies that need to come through that are not through those 7 portals or gateways, we welcome you now. Again, only energies in service of healing, our highest good, are welcome. All other energies to remain outside the circle. This can include energies in the spirit world that don't align with a particular gateway. They're all the gateways. So it's the outside the above and outside the below, outside the within, outside the without. We thank them all for being here tonight to give us guidance and direction and protection. Together we say, Amen. Aho. So it is. So it is. Okay, so let me know if the music gets too loud or any of the ambient noise in the room, because I'm not going to be drumming. I know some of you are very sensitive, so I'll just be watching the feed and we'll make modifications as we need to. I think the music is okay. Yeah, I think the music's okay. A little bit higher is better for me, but I don't, if it gets too loud for them. Okay. So for tonight, I want you to bring your attention to your breath to begin. And tonight is really about intentionally coming into your space, your body, the room that you're in. Instead of trying to float or fly away, tonight is really about you anchoring in and going deeper. And so we're not traveling tonight. We're very much aware of the space that we're in, the body that we're in, of the energies that are around us. Tonight is really just about a reflection. It's a space for you to hear, like I said. So the easiest way for me to help you be in your body is to bring your awareness to your energy centers. So I want you to start with your crown. Even the typing, they may be able to pick up on that, Rachel. Sorry, I don't know. It does. Let us know. Normally I'm drumming, so nobody can hear anything. But so I want you to start at your crown, and we're going to go all the way to the root, and we're going to push through the root past the Earth Star chakra, and we're going to do a visualization of connecting to the Earth's grid, which we've done just recently in another meditation together in Gem Journey. But our purpose tonight is just, I want to give you something to anchor into that you can pull power through. Okay, and this is the easiest way to visualize it. So just a preview, I want you to start with your crown. So close your eyes if you haven't already. Your crown chakra sits at the very top of your head where a baby's soft spot is. And it's a beautiful purple, violet, spinning disc of light. So I want you to bring your attention and your energy to the crown chakra. And all you need to notice is just that light, that wheel turning. It is turning. And the more you bring your awareness to it, the clearer it is to see. And so sensing that energy, sensing the crown. And now I want you to drop down and bring your awareness to your third eye. And that's an indigo, a dark blue spinning wheel of light right behind the spot between your eyebrows. So I want you to bring your awareness there. This is the center of your spiritual sight. This is the home of your intuition. And it's good at each of these points to just say thank you for the gifts that these different energy centers bring, right? The crown chakra connects us with source and with divinity and with our own spiritual path and quest. The third eye connects us with our different ways of knowing, the ones that are honored and the ones that aren't, the things that we know that we can't explain. And so just bringing your awareness there. And then bringing your awareness to your throat chakra. It's a light blue spinning disc of light at your throat. It sits right behind the Adam's apple. These are all connected to the vertical column. So you can also bring awareness to your spine. Send a message of gratitude and love to your spinal fluid. If you have disc issues, this is a wonderful time just to envision all of the discs being bathed in the light of the chakras that are around them. You can send healing energy through your spine tonight. When I'm doing a meditation like this, because I do have a disc issue that's hereditary, I like to visualize just putting extra space, like a cushion around the discs. If you have back pain, this can really be a very healing part of your process when you do a meditation like this. And then with another deep breath, I want you to bring your awareness to your heart chakra. That's a green, sort of a bright spring green disc of light that sits behind your physical heart. It illuminates the entire chest. And again, just expressing gratitude there. This is the energy center that allows you to give and receive love, right? How you feel love, how you express love. And then with a breath, bringing your awareness to your solar plexus chakra. This sits right above the belly button. This is a golden disc of light. And this energy center is all about your will, your strength, your power. And so just giving thanks for your confidence, for your steadfastness, right? The ways in which you are decisive, that you express your power and your will. And then bringing your energy and your attention and awareness down to the sacral chakra, which sits between the ovaries or testes. This is your orange spinning disc of light. And this energy center is about what you want. It's about desire speaking through you, living through you. So what you really want. It's an energy center that also aligns to your courage and to your passion. So just giving thanks for the ways in which you acknowledge your passions, acknowledge what you want, right? The ways in which you connect to your own strength. So those are the two chakras of your strength, your solar plexus and your sacral. And then bringing the attention and the awareness to the root chakra, which sits right above the perineum. That's a spinning red disc of light. This is the energy center that governs your safety. It's the primary space of grounding in the body. So safety, belonging, a sense of home. And so just giving thanks for all the ways in which you are safe. You create home for and within yourself. And then bringing your energy and your attention and your awareness to the soles of your feet. That's the connection point for the Earth Star chakra. And that's a really slowly moving, sort of dark brown, almost black disc of light. And that is your energy center that governs your connection to the earth itself. And that is an important gateway that we overlook because we can draw energy through the Earth Star chakra from the planet. And that's what we're doing tonight. And so to really feel this, you either need to have your butt on the floor or your hands on the floor. Both would be great. If you're laying down, you can put your palms facing down and the soles of your feet on the floor, like pull your knees up so that you can feel that connection to the earth. And so we're sending that gratitude down the column, and that gratitude is going to be received by the earth. So that's our offering to the earth. You always want to make an offering before you withdraw. It's like trying to make a withdrawal from a bank without making a deposit first. Like, what are you drawing in, right? So we're sending our gratitude down, and I just want to begin by saying on our collective behalf, and this is where a tool like an athame comes in handy. So I'm just putting this down, point down to the earth. Thank you to all the spirits and guides for getting us here. Thank you for the strength. Thank you for the passion. Thank you for the protection. Thank you for the will, for the love, for the expression and the truth, the wisdom, and for divine messages and divine timing and divine guidance. We give thanks for these gifts from you, for our lives, for our connections to each other. Aho. Okay. Stay right there. I'm going to change the track of the music. I'll be right back. Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Okay. I don't know. The playlist, sometimes the playlists are like where they need to be. Sometimes I need to modify it. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So now, this is where we needed to go. This is right where we needed to go. And now you can do this with a crystal, but you can do it with your hands too. I want you to, whatever position you're in, again, with your palms facing down or facing the earth. I want you to imagine now that with those two palms and the energy that's flowing through your hands, and the light that's flowing through you, plugs into all of the grids, vortices, ley lines on our planet. Almost imagine that through your hands come two beams of light, and when you put them down, all the other beams of light turn on. Like your hands become an on switch for the rest of the grids that cross the planet. And I just want to ask our guides to help us to plug in, help us to feel the flow of energy. You might start to feel your hands get warm, or they might start to be a little tingly. Those are all really normal reactions to plugging into the grid, especially in a circle like this. And for now, guides, just help us to plug in, help us to connect. Our intention tonight as a collective is to listen, to get quiet enough to hear, and to reflect on the places in our lives that are tethering us, limiting us, in some cases blocking us from feeling this flow of energy and from embodying this flow of energy. And because part of the guidance today is to slow down, I want you just to really feel this moment. You know, as you start to pull energy from the planet itself, people say, go out in nature. Okay. This is what they mean, right? It's not just go out barefoot for 2 minutes and come back in the house. It's plug in. And you don't even know what you're plugging into, right? That's why we cast such a strong circle. But what you're plugging into is energies that have been on this planet since before life formed, right? We're going back to a very primordial energy stream tonight to do this work. So just resting there. And stay with your breath, because your presence, your mindfulness tonight is important. So spirit guides, as the one you came for, sits in this space tonight and does this work. If you would like to make yourselves known or seen to them, around them, with them, please do so now. I can almost feel like some of you with hands around your hands, like you're not plugging in alone, or arms around you, or a hand on your shoulder or something like that. So you might be feeling presence around you in that way. And again, it doesn't have to be embodied, right? It's really just knowing that you came into this space, and when you called your guides, they came. And they do. And so I ask for each person who's in this container now, and we'll watch this later, I ask that you help them pull up through this grid tonight the necessary health, wealth, strength, peace, comfort, joy, courage. What else am I feeling the collective's needing? Patience. That came up pretty strongly. Alignment. Calm. Confidence. Awareness. Discernment. Now you listen. What are you pulling up? What are you being asked to pull from this well? And I want you to imagine, again, for me, visualization is everything when it comes to energy work. So I'm saying draw this energy within. Okay, well, what does that mean? I want you to imagine that they are individual strands of light, this energy that you're calling in, and it comes in through your fingertips, comes through your wrists, up to your shoulders, over your elbows, and through every vein and artery in your body. That it flows in your blood, that your cells are able to receive it and retrieve it. If there's an area in your body that has felt weak or painful, you can direct this flow of energy to that place. Let that electricity that you're drawing upon, think of it as fuel, and you're fueling your tank. And watch your own body right now. Close your eyes and notice, are there certain areas that seem to be glowing? Can you visualize it more than others with this light that you're pulling through? You may not even realize that part of your body needed it. But just let it come and let it pour through you, and then watch its flow. Just notice where it's flowing. And just because it isn't flowing to a particular place doesn't mean you don't need it there, but maybe there's other places and parts of you where it's needed more. So just paying attention to that. Now we're going to do a little work. Okay. And it's kind of like exercise, okay, when it comes to energy work like this. If it's uncomfortable, don't push it. That's a message to you. Maybe it's not time to do that work now, okay? So I want you to bring your attention to something that is receiving a lot of your energy. Again, it could be something you're afraid of, something you're concerned about, something you're stressed out by, something you can't seem to solve or resolve. An area that's draining you. I want you to bring your attention to that now. And I want you to imagine sending the energy of this, whatever it is, send it through your palms, down through the grid. You can't overwhelm the grid. The grid's way more powerful than you or any of your problems. Okay, so send it down. We're transmuting, but we're also listening. And so as you send it down, what I want you to ask and intend is that you're going to pull up through these light channels some wisdom about how this challenge or this area of concern for you could be resolved for your highest good and your healing. Like the best case. So pull that up right now. Send the issue down and pull up in its place that issue resolved for your highest good and healing. And stay with your breath. Now, if this is one of the areas where you have a question tonight, now is a good time to ask that question. Now's a good time. And listen. Listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Yeah. Listen with your skin. Listen with your breath. Listen with your hands. You can feel free to take a couple of notes too, if you need to. Okay. Now, you can stay there and keep listening. Maybe you're onto something juicy. I know some of you are. I can feel it. Maybe you're like, okay, I got a good message. Can I do it with another? Can I run another challenge? Yes, you can. So there's a hummingbird right outside, looking right at me. Right at me. You can also, so we can, if you want to run another challenge, what you're going to do is pull up the energy of that challenge, hold it in your hands, turn your hands upside down, and you're going to send that energy down through your hands. Send it to all the chords, all the light strings, all the ley lines, all the vortices. You're just, imagine a grid. Again, as soon as your hands touch the ground, that's the on switch, you're now plugged in. So you're sending that challenge through, which is a way of surrendering it too. And now I want you to ask, we're going to ask the guides, please, if they're sending another challenge down, please send back through those lines to them a vision of the highest outcome for whatever this is. Just listen. Again, whole body listening, your heart listening. And again, if this is where your question rests, this is a perfect time to ask that question and listen for wisdom. And if you don't need to run challenges right now, you're like, I had one, I ran it, can I switch to my question now? The answer is yes. This is your time. So the most important thing is that at some point that question on your heart gets seen, gets heard. And so I ask that you, guides, please give as much clear guidance and direction as you can to each person for the question that is sitting heaviest on their heart tonight. And sometimes you may see light, you may see a shape, you may hear a sound or smell something. These are all psychic gifts too. So just be open to the idea that information can come to you in so many forms right now. Well, another way to use the portal that we're sitting in right now is just to simply, without even asking a question or acknowledging a challenge, is just to put your hands out and down and ask that you call up through these power lines. Ask that you call up through these power lines anything you need to know or anything you need to retrieve or heal or integrate for the season ahead, for the harvest. If you're trying to manifest wealth and abundance, what do you need right now? Is it clarity? Is it support? Is it confidence? And then just, it's all sitting right here. I want you to see this as a malleable place, right? So it's all sitting right here. All you have to do is just, and if you don't know what it is, ask the guides just to give you through these lines what you need and to place it where it needs to go. See what it feels like to play with that. You can take each of the crystals that you want to charge, and you can imagine, again, sending the crystals, the energy of the crystals through your hands down into this matrix, and asking that through your hands on this day of significance that the guides send an activation to each of these stones and tools that reflects the energy and the power of this day. And try rotating your hands. First hold the tool in the left hand and then hold the tool in the right hand, because the way you call up energy through your right hand and the way you call up energy through your left hand is different. So when you call up energy through your right hand, it's the masculine. When you call up energy through your left hand, it's the feminine, right? Okay, so I just want to reiterate, it's really important that you put your question forward to be considered. So if you have not done that yet, now is an important chance to do that. And you may have reframed your question. Maybe some of the information that you're pulling up or some of the energy that you're channeling is causing you to reframe your question, or you want to refine your question. This would be a good time to do that as well. Or ask a clarifying question too. So what I'm hearing is we need to do a quick lightning round. Okay, bear with me. What they're showing me is like a quick pulsing of energy, okay, before we conclude, where you send a question, pull up guidance, send a challenge, pull up, or send energy you want to release and pull up completion, or pull up, if you, I don't know, like if there's an energy of like things that maybe you want to, it could be like mistakes you made, or I don't know, where you want to call in forgiveness or compassion, or I don't know what it is I'm feeling, but I just want you to try this pulsing with me of like send and receive, send and receive, send and receive, because it can be really quick. It doesn't have to be, it's all energetic, right? So like pull up the healing, pull up I keep hearing like releasing or forgiveness or just compassion, There's a real sense of them wanting to use this space to comfort. And it, it's just a very quick pulsing transmutation. Like I send down this, I call up that. I send down this, I call up that. So just take this time to do that. You could do it with an inhale and an exhale. Like feels good. You can feel you guys doing it. Let's just stay with that in and out flow. That Big deep breath there. Feels good. Now I want you to sense all the energy around you. They're guiding me to pull a couple cards, so I'm going to do that. Feels like it's not individual cards. These are cards for the collective, so I'm going to do that. And then we're going to have our moment to give thanks and just express gratitude for all of the help and guidance that's coming through tonight, and that will continue to come through. Like I said, this isn't, we're going to be finished tonight, but it's not like you're not going to continue to get downloads and insights. For sure you will. All right, so Spirit, guide me to the cards for this collective right now. So in case your eyes are closed, you don't have to look. I pulled the right action card. Aparigraha literally means let everything that wants to go, go, and everything that wants to come, come. That's so good for us for tonight. There's a few, so let me just let them come through. Trust. Allow me, Divine, to give you my deepest longings and trusting you to know exactly how to handle them. So letting go of how things are going to happen for you. Super sweet energy in our little space right now. It feels like a cozy container, doesn't it? It's really nice. Love this card for us. Reframe. This is so good for us. A lot of you that needed this one. This is happening for me, not to me. Had a kind of an aha moment with my son today. He was complaining about, and rightfully so, some of the circumstances and around him, and how this is hard because of this and this is hard because of that. And I said, think about how much harder it would be without those circumstances, because those circumstances also brought some blessings. And he stopped and he was like, it would be harder. And I was like, you're like, when you're just in that moment of like, and this is hard, and this is hard, and this is hard because of this and this and this. And it's like, okay, but what's easier because of that? This is also a great card for us. It's the Limitless card. Reminds me of us right now because you can look at it later in the replay, or seriously, you can grab a screenshot. But it's a mandala with hands around it holding butterflies. Kind of feels like us right now. See yourself open to receive in the most miraculous ways. The divine can use anything and anyone. Just so true. I feel like there's one more. All right, give it to me, Spirit. What else do we need to know and hold and integrate tonight? Such a great deck. I haven't, this deck was buried under all my other decks. Spirit literally, today was very guided. Like, now you go and get that deck and you show them the top of the inside of the box. I never keep the boxes, right? Divine flow. Eventually, this is what it says, eventually one sublime desire takes precedence over all others, to follow the Tao, the divine flow, at all costs. Follow the Tao. Which very technically looks like asking, so what's the right next step? I don't have to know the next 10, but what's the right next one? And sometimes it's one foot in front of the other, right? Until the bigger picture emerges. Is there anything else, Spirit? Well, it's interesting because this reminds me of us tonight. It's the receiving card. It says, every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. And it's your hands stretched out to, work with these light lines. So I like this one for us too. We did receive a lot tonight. Cheers to that. Those hands, right? Your hands. Our hands. Did you? You heard one, put one foot in front of the other? A lot of us are great givers and really shitty receivers, And, for me, that was modeled. I never really saw receiving. I saw a lot of giving, which that ends up looking like martyrdom. You know what I mean? Somebody who just gives and never receives, like, what is that? There's no divine reciprocity or exchange, right? So it's not even like the most sacred way to live. So let's take a moment to give thanks to all the guides. Here's mine, ours, for gathering us together, for the timing of this, for the various astrological alignments that are happening right now. Bless this in a unique way, for insights that we will transform into actions, right? Which is ultimately what manifestation is. So I just give thanks for wisdom and blessings already on their way. Thank you for coming across the timelines to be present with us. It's good just to have a moment of like humbleness and awe, right, at the vastness of the universe, and also to realize that a process like this reminds you, that sometimes you need to detach from an individual thing, person, experience, energy, whatever it is, and connect it to something much bigger, which reminds you how insignificant most of the challenges that we face really are. And it allows us, this is really the secret. When people are like, well, how do you stay positive, and how do you stay? And I mean, it's a challenge because we're human, and our natural tendency is to rabbit hole and become very, when we're stressed, to become very small, right? We start nitpicking and we start focusing on minutia because that's how we think we can control things. We make them small. But the secret is to make things big, is to elevate above that. And it can make you look like you are unaffected or you're tuned out or whatever else. But I mean, the people who are down here moving things around with toothpicks and chopsticks are not really that happy. The control freaks, they're not happy. Because at some point they're going to find something they can't control, right? So I love that, Bonnie. Yeah, there's a lot of I always say there's the stuff I'm saying and then there's the stuff I'm not saying that's just coming, and that's the magic. It's the conversation behind the conversation, because there's you who's listening to me, but who's the one who's aware that you're listening to me? Right? I mean, that's always the freaks everybody out. Like, oh yeah, there's the me that knows I'm here, but then what's the part of me that is aware that I'm here? Like, that's the watcher in you, right? That's the higher self that can watch you doing this. And the higher self can like watch you have a problem and help you through it. And they're not attached because the higher self is you in all of your incarnations, right? Oh, Jody. Oh, honey. I love that so much. Just be his girl. Just be his girl. Bet if you said that to him, he would agree. Hi, Kelly. I'm glad that you feel peaceful when you got knocked out. It'll come later. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Well, Luna, it's definitely part of it, right? I don't need, but you do need. Needs are powerful. Needs and wants sail ships. So if we say, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, it's like, okay. I definitely feel better. I'm grateful for that. You can probably see it. Like my eyes feel a little bit more alive, which is good. I'm grateful. That's why I was like, I'm gonna do it. So thank you to all of the guides, guardians, ascended masters, light beings, master teachers from all dimensions, timelines, gateways. Thank you for being with us, for guiding us, for connecting us to ourselves, to our higher wisdom, to our ancestors, to our lineage. Get ahead of myself. For our part, and don't agree to this if you can't, but I'm going to make an agreement. Agreements are powerful. I'm going to make an agreement to hold this vibration for 24 hours. I'm not asking you to commit to marrying me, but it'd be really nice if you could just stay here for a day. You know what I mean? Like you only get one 8/8 cycle a year. I think you can do it. Which just means if you start doing your old stuff, like going back and worrying about that thing again, or like forgetting what you learned tonight, or pretending you didn't hear, that's not good. So if you could just stay here for 24 hours, that'd be great. Yeah. So for my part, you can choose to participate. I commit to staying here for as long as I can, to integrate this wisdom and insight and honor it. Oh, Lord, seriously. I would marry you too. Okay. Are you ready to release the guides? We release them first. So, to all the guides and teachers and light beings and ancestors, thank you for your presence. And we release you back across the veils. That's good stuff. You can feel it. I always get goosebumps. Like you can feel the fluttering. And I'm thinking and releasing the guides and the guardians, the lower world, the middle world, the upper world, the below, the within, the above. Thank you for connecting us to the planet herself, to our ancestors, and to the crystals and minerals. Thank you for connecting us to each other, heart to heart, so that we could be vulnerable and seen as we do our work together. Sometimes I think your guides talk to each other, which is kind of cool. And then thank you to the guides and guardians of the upper realms, astral wisdom, access to the Akash, all the downloads and insights. We release you with gratitude. I'm thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the north for steady protection, patience, and peace. Thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the west, renewal, healing, abundance. And thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the south, courage, transformation, transmutation. And thanking and releasing the guides, the guardians of the east, new cycles, new beginnings, new awareness. Amen, aho. And so it is. Yay. Thank you guys. Well, you know what? It was an honor to be with you tonight. And like I said, I hope, I didn't want to inflate the importance of tonight, but I will tell you, it was very clear. And I really love these moments, because usually I get good spirit guidance around choice points, right? Like, I don't feel good, right? Can hardly get out of bed. Do I do this? And it's like, this is what is happening. So yeah, and we had a beautiful group. Your energy was just stunning tonight. So thank you for managing your energy so well and really showing up for the occasion and doing your work, because this is how we heal the planet. It's one step, one person. It starts with you, and then as you vibrate differently, the universe vibrates differently in response to you. So it's a big deal. So cheers and cheers and cheers. Thank you to Rachel for taking good care of me through this. Thank you to Circe for being such a great moderator for space. Very much of the gratitude to everyone. And thank you to Hannah, because I did tell her we need to make summon candles and Elder Council incense. Those are like bare necessities in my collection. And I, sometimes I don't use stuff as often as I want to, because I'm like, what if I can never have that again? So I did send her a text before this. So I'm like, and she was excited. We all get excited about bringing old things back. So cheers. So take this into dream time, right? I like to, I don't know what you have going on. Some of you are going now to cook dinner or going now to put your kids down or whatever. But try to have just a little, that quiet time between, when you are laying down and you're fuzzy, before you fall asleep. Try to inhabit that space tonight and be present for that. Because for me, a lot of times it's that almost asleep time where I start to feel the portal open again and more information and downloads. So, and let us know, I want to hear all the conversations and I want to hear about this experience for you. So I'm so glad. Thank you for that, Belinda. Cheers and cheers. You are the light. Ooh. Good. Yeah, I'm glad that helped your back too. Notice if you feel a little bit like less discomfort in areas that have been bothering you. It's not uncommon after Elder Council. It's one of the reasons we love it. Yeah, so the question, are you asking if they remember their question? Yeah, write down your question. What was your question? I got a good quick hit, which, as per usual with spirit wisdom, it's very accurate and not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but yeah, so come back to your question so that you remember, and take any notes you need to. I took about 2/3 of a page of just quick notes, so hopefully you got some good stuff. You wrote 3 pages? I love that. Yay. Good. I'm glad you're feeling more centered. And remember that you can watch this again. You know what I mean? So one of the things people do, come back and replay Elder Council. And then, when on the replay, you can fast forward or just certain pieces or parts. So some people just like to go back to the part where I dropped you into the meditation, and then they pause it and just want to be quiet and listen. And some of the music that's been playing the last couple of tracks are really helpful too. So if I can, I'll make a note of those so that you can, that's all part of the energy that's in the room too. Whew. All right. Cheers. I'm amazed I made it 2 hours. I really didn't think I was going to. So, and I feel okay. So thank you for all of your energy and your love and kindness too. May all that you seek and summon through this 8-8 gateway come to you in perfect time and in full alignment with your highest good, your soul's path for evolution, and the highest good of all beings on this planet at this time. May it be so. Amen. Cheers. I love you too. All right. I'm going to go sign off and be very quiet and get back in my bed. And then I will see you tomorrow. So we have Rock Talk from 3 to 5 tomorrow, me and Robin, with some really cool stuff. That's where we bring our new stones and new jewelry and things, and then some things that are just like, you got to see this. And then full moon from 5 to 6, and after party from 6:30 to 7:30 before our birthday girl gets back in bed. So I'll see you tomorrow.